Morning there, YouTube. Another Taurus High Point production coming at you. Black powder mishaps. Okay, accidents that happen with black powder, or the accidents people say happen with black powder. There's another guy out here. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I want to say Montana something. Montana Shooter. He goes through and he does a series on these black powder myths and you know, barrel explosions, things like that. Don't do what he does. Okay, it's some of the things, such as a barrel destruction, can be hazardous. Now, the way he does a barrel obstruction and the way somebody else does a barrel obstruction, I think they are CVA. They come out and they do a video. I'll even link that here in the description too, along with this other guy. You will see the two different processes, two different barrel obstructions. And both of them run a barrel obstruction of where the end of the barrel is obstructed. One uses mud and it totally destroys the barrel, sends parts flying back into the user. Okay. This other guy, he's like, well, I'm shooting, I'm at the club, I've got my ball starter, I've rammed my ball in 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever the ball starter length is. I forget the ramrod, I raise, I shoot, and everything is fine. Two different scenarios. Some people might be looking to think that it would possibly have the same as don't, because you can take that same ball that he rammed into the end of that barrel and ram it 3/4 of the way down, and that will provide you with the catastrophic failure that the end of the barrel obstruction had with just the mud CVA did. Like I said, I'm going to link both of those in the description. Those are similar experiments, but they're nothing alike. Common sense. Okay. Yes, there are going to be times when you're ramming and shooting and you're talking with your friends, you're going to forget to ram that ball. That has been done. I've done it. So it's not something you want to do. Okay, but if you're just ramming the ball and or the sabot and lead, whatever you're using, and you just seat it in that first 4 to 6 inches of the barrel with your ball starter, don't worry about when you pull the trigger and set off your black powder. Now, let's look at everything I've said in context. Black powder. Okay. Propellant or substitute reacts a little differently and has a bit of a higher pressure rating than black powder. I think you reduce your substitute load, if I remember everything correctly. It's been a little bit. by 10%. Whatever your black powder is by volume, your substitute should be 10% less of that volume, because there's a pressure difference there between the two. Now, again, common sense. I don't reduce my load. Black coffee, black powder, or Pyrodex shooting. Since I, started cutting my teeth 8 to 10 years ago on this matter, everyone out there that I've talked to, that I've discussed, that I've chatted with, that I've done some shooting with, they all tell me to take your gun, whatever you're firing that day, and you work up a load that gets you the accuracy for the distance you're looking for. Now, a lot of these owner's manuals, they tell you 100%, 100 grain powder load, your ball, your wad. Some may tell you a little lower, some may tell you a little higher. Not to exceed X amount. If you're truly getting into black powder and want to learn, there is somebody who taught me a long time ago. 10 grains of powder per caliber. Let's say if you're shooting a 50 caliber ball and you want to work up a powder load, start with 50 grains. Shoot your target, see where that puts you, and then you work up in 10 grain increments or 5 grain increments from there. Yes, but it's the same thing with the Pyrodex. And people want to say Pyrodex is weaker, gunpowder is weaker. It doesn't matter. Work up both the loads. Store it somewhere, either under the butt pad of the rifle or whatever, and to remind yourself, if you're using 4.95 round ball, 0.10 ticking, black powder, your load is 80 grains, and you're on at your 100 yards where you want to be, you're getting 1.5 to 2 inch groups at 100 yards, that's where you want to be, then hey, write that down and store it somewhere with the rifle. If you're using Pyrodex, I've got 2 loads for each rifle. I got one of the gunpowder and one of the Pyrodex. I primarily use the Pyrodex. It's easier for me to find. But if I find out that if I use 85 grains of gunpowder, I'm generally only using 75 grains, 80 grains of the Pyrodex to get the same results of the gunpowder. But I write that down, store that with the rifle. It's black powder, Pyrodex, it's all give and take. You need to take the rifle and take a day where you're free of distractions and work up that load, and then take another day where you're free of distractions and work up that second load. Gunpowder, Pyrodex. If you prefer shooting just the black, then just work up the black. But if something happens and you can't get your hands on black, with knowing off the top of your head, knowing what that Pyredex load would be for that rifle, that handgun, that's me. I'm Taurus High Point Productions. My name is Ray Shepard. You choose, therefore you are responsible. I'll choose, I'll be responsible. And this concludes our video for today.